Welcome to Leadership Devotionals. For today, we will discuss the last installment, the last episode of Jesus and Leadership, and this is already the 14th episode. If you have not listened to the other 13, I advise you to find time and try to review among our files of video how Jesus, the first topic was Jesus and his mission. Then it's about servant leadership, the origins of it, and how that servant leadership transitioned into relational leadership. We have discussed about Jesus developing leaders, developing others, developing his disciples, how he mentored and how he coached them. Further on, we have discussed about leading with integrity, leading with transparency, leading with authenticity, leading with honesty. Also, we have discussed about Christ being the visionary. In our second to the last episode, we need to have a conversion of our hearts so that the heart of Christ will be in us as we lead our people, seeing the value of people, seeing the value of our line and staff, seeing the value of our managers, seeing the value of everyone in our institution as they are sons and daughters of God. Fellow leaders, if you have been blessed with this episode, do share these devotionals so that more leaders will be blessed. And for today, let us try to look and let us try to reflect on our leadership journey in our institution, on our leadership journey leading the flock of God, or leading our company or our corporations or our people, whatever for that matter. As long as you're a leader and you're leading a group, let us try to reflect on all the lessons that we have all the lessons that we have learned from the principles of Jesus and leadership. Let me start with this one. Implicit in Jesus' robust prayer life was the conviction that the success of a servant leader's endeavors would only come from God. Now, there are points here that you have to remember. Jesus, number one, has a robust prayer life. He has a robust prayer life. In fact, prayer is the tool that Jesus used to connect with God, whether in the morning or in the evening. So much so that because of his connection with his Father, he was constantly empowered by the Holy Spirit, and he can influence people by his leadership. So the first thing that we have here is implicit in Jesus' robust prayer life is that success comes from God. So my question to you, for you to reflect, how does your personal prayer life reflect your level of dependence on God? You see, in basketball, most of the coaches will save their timeouts towards the last part, towards the last few minutes of the game, where the game is going to be determined who wins or who loses, especially when the score is very near with each other. They save their timeouts for those crucial parts, so that they can connect with their players, they can call for a timeout, design the play, set the players to the floor, and hopefully win the game. The question for us, my fellow leaders, is how is your prayer life in times when you are at the height of dealing with problems, dealing with challenges, dealing with stresses in your work, or dealing with all the factors that are being brought back to you, either internal or external, all the pressures that are coming to you. How is your prayer life at that point in time? Yes, we may have started our day today with a devotional, but I would suggest, and I would recommend, strongly recommend, that every minute of your life should be a life of prayer. It is only by constantly connecting with God the Father that our endeavors will be ensured with success. When we meet a visitor in our office, breath a silent prayer. When that visitor leaves our office, try to pray with that visitor, or also breathe a silent prayer. When you are dealing with certain reports, probably targets were not met, while reading through it, breathe a prayer to it. That's how we connect with God. And by connecting with God, we are assured of success, as exemplified by the life of Jesus. The second part is, Jesus deflected the accolades of society, refusing selfish ambition as the governing power in accomplishing of his Father's mission. Now, the question for us to reflect on is, how difficult is it for you to resist succumbing to human praise and approval during your attempts at being mission-minded? Yes, people may, especially when we have successes in our mission, when we have growth in our organizations, when we have baptisms, when we have accomplishments, when we have reached the goal, people will always come back to us with compliments, with accolades. How do we deflect this? Not for ourselves, but that God will be glorified. Are we so fast to, get our smartphones or get to our laptop and immediately type it on Facebook, publish it to our chat groups, and, make everyone aware that we have this kind of accomplishments. We have this kind of achievements. Remember, Jesus deflected the accolades of society, refusing selfish ambition as the governing power in accomplishing his Father's mission. Let us always remember that all glory must be to God, that people may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. That should be the channel of accolades, deflected from us and deflected heavenward. How have the external, so personality and charisma, obscured your organization's ability to assess the potential of every individual? Jesus, when he looked at his disciples, when you look at his band of disciples, they are not even the most qualified ones. They were fishermen, they were publicans, they were just ordinary people around. But Jesus saw the potential in them. Jesus saw the passion for mission in them. And he called them. Same as with us. Are we putting people in places of leadership just because of their connection to us? Just because of their charisma and personality? Remember, in our episode about Jesus leading with integrity, Jesus looked on the character of the person. Same as with us. We should look at the character Because the character speaks more of the person rather than the outward accomplishments. The last note I want to bring up to you is Jesus' acute sense of his Father's complete control of his mission was instrumental in his investment in others and in his sharing authority with his disciples. So Jesus was never stingy in sharing, in empowering, in giving to his disciples, because he was sure and he was secure in itself with the control that God the Father has over his life, and that he wanted to share that with the people. It is only when you and I have given the controls of our life to God, and he is the one engaged in our daily living, that we will be leaders who empower others, and we will never be threatened with the thought of coveting positions, never be threatened with people who are vying for our positions, because we know that God the Father is running our lives. So how has your organization modeled or encouraged a climate conducive to empowering others? These are the questions we have to reflect on as leaders. Because Jesus has given to us already an example. And in that, life of Jesus, empowering his disciples, we can see the tremendous result out of one individual with 12 disciples. 2,000 years later, billions of people are followers of Jesus Christ. Fellow leaders, let us look to Jesus as our model leader, and let us invite the Holy Spirit in our life, that he will empower us to lead like Jesus. Is my prayer for you. Hello, fellow leaders. If you have been blessed with the devotional that you have just heard, don't forget to like, share, or subscribe. Because when you do that, more people, more leaders will be blessed with the same blessing that you have experienced. In YouTube channel, click subscribe to Good Shepherd Consultants. God bless you.